Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today we're going to take a look at the full moon, which is coming up tomorrow. It will be in the sign of Aquarius, the fixed air sign of Aquarius, and it will be occurring at about 2:10 p.m. Eastern Time. There will be a partial lunar eclipse, but it will not be visible for us here in the United States. I think they'll be able to see it in Australia. Let's take a look at how the planets will be looking in the heavens at the time of the full moon tomorrow on Monday. And we can see here the moon at 15 degrees of Aquarius, and it will be opposing the sun at 15 degrees of Leo. We have a conjunction of the sun and Mars, which adds some extra energy to the mix, particularly since air feeds fire. And we have this fiery Leo energy with the sun and Mars conjunct in the fixed fire sign of Leo. Now, in terms of rulership, the sun and Mars in Leo rules the fifth house of creativity. It is also extremely strong energy in terms of optimism, courage, the desire to protect or to take on the energy of superhero. It also is a fiercely competitive sign, particularly when we have Mars involved here. Leo rules that fifth house, and the fifth house is where we do things that are enjoyable in being a human being. And that can be anything in terms of creativity, dancing, gardening, cooking. It even rules gambling and competitive sports, children and pets, hobbies. All those things are fifth house activities. So for some of us, we may be busier with our children this time of the year. That is natural as they're getting ready to go back to school. We may have more focus on our children at this time. It is also a good time simply for initiating and for some of the follow through or the persistence that it takes when you begin something, or the passion or the courage, which is something that Leo can give us while we have the sun conjunct Leo. And the full moon in Aquarius, it rules the 11th house of friends, groups, organizations, and the larger human group. It's more personal and individual in the fifth house. That's where we play one-on-one with others. When we get up into the 11th house, we play with more people. The creativity of the fifth house is brought out in the 11th house through the stage, the gallery, the audience, where we bring those creative things forward for many people to enjoy or to see. The idea of support of individuality while looking toward the future and being aware of humanity as a whole is something that the 11th house is concerned with, and Aquarius energy as well. So the self and maintaining whatever you might be very adamant about, and being able to recognize or realize that we are all in this together and we are basically all human, and that whatever is good for one person is also good for the greater whole. Whatever is negative for one person can potentially be negative for the greater whole. And I think that issues of individualism versus the unity of society may come up. We also have this, you see the green lines here, these quincunxes that the sun and Mars are forming with Pluto in Capricorn and Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces, we can think along the lines of beauty, healing, and inspiration. Neptune is strongest in its own sign. It does rule Pisces. And then there is a sextile formed between those two planets, so that you can see this triangle here that is called a yod, or a finger of God. And this sextile, which is a pleasant or supportive minor aspect, joins up Neptune and Pluto. Pluto in Capricorn seeks power. Upheaval and transformation are also Plutonian. And Capricorn looks for the highest level of something. It's a constructive cardinal earth sign that wants to basically climb the ladder, get to the top. It rules the 10th house of career in a natal chart, the Capricorn energy. Within a solar chart, the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, and the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. And the 12th house is the dream state, wishes, hopes, faith, inspiration, the collective consciousness of society, other planes of existence. So importance, structure, success, the outer world trappings, the recognition and power, that's all associated with Capricorn and magnified by the intensity of Pluto. And then we have Neptune in Pisces that looks to do away with the boundaries and basically bring healing, beauty, or inspiration. Jupiter, we have Jupiter in Libra making a trine to the moon. This is extremely supportive for growth and change and equality, and bringing up perhaps issues of individualism and balance or harmony and equality between people, and recognition of the humanness in everybody. And in terms of your own individual life, if we look at house rulerships, Libra rules the 7th house of relationship, so growth through relationships, and Aquarius rules that 11th house of friends. So be a friend to other people. Be a friend to people who are different from you, perhaps. Don't be afraid to reach out and meet new people. Don't be afraid to join a group if you have something that you feel that you need to say or that you can participate in or that you align with. Then join the group. Become part of something bigger than yourself. Jupiter also makes a sextile to the Sun and Mars in Leo. And this can give the get up and go energy toward reaching out to other people on an individual level. It can help people a great deal with confidence. So if you generally lack some confidence, this particular moon and the aspects being generated may help you toward reaching out to other people, especially if you feel very strongly about anything in particular. Then this yod may push you out toward doing something, toward reaching out to more people, toward joining a group, toward looking at what's going on in society, or thinking about how you feel about things that affect humanity as a whole or society as a whole, and whether you feel it is the right time for you to join in or do something. I find that Venus in Cancer is a little bit quiet right now. It makes a aspect over here to Mercury in Virgo. They seem to be taking a back seat in some ways to everything else going on. They appear to be simply analyzing. Mercury in Virgo discerns, and Venus in Cancer, it feels. So sensitivity, the observation, the analyzing and discerning, and being open and sensitive, especially one-on-one with other people. Cancer wants to feed, nurture, care for, protect. Virgo also, need is very important to Virgo. The energy there is to take care of needs. Virgo has rulership over the 6th house, and that has to do with service to others or service-related work. So being of service, being caring and concerned. Cancer energy, that has to do with the 4th house of home. Now, your individual natal chart may have different house associations because your ascendant may not be Aries. It may be one of the other 12 signs. That would turn this chart wheel around and place the transiting planets in different houses or areas of your life. However, you will always have the influence. It's basically like mixing colors together. You will always have some of that Libra influence there going on in whatever you have in your 7th house. Even if Jupiter is landing somewhere else in your chart, there are still going to be relationship overtones or relationship issues apparent because of the Libra energy and the 7th house association. So whatever we just went over in terms of houses and rulership, if your chart has anything other than an Aries rising sign and you would like to know more about, well, where is all this occurring in my own chart, I am available to go over your chart with you, and we can do that easily by phone. Or if you prefer recorded sessions, I'm also available for that. And we can see what's going on with you currently in terms of the transits to your own natal chart. If you want to dig in a little more deeply, I look at this as a time of consciousness opening up and a desire as a whole for some unity within the community, and for potential for people to be growing in their relationships, in their close relationships and in their broader relationships as a whole. And looking over at the Sabian symbol for this, we round up to 16 degrees. A big businessman at his desk, the ability to organize the many aspects of an enterprise involving a large group of human beings. And it goes on to talk more about the human point of view. And it talks about modern large-scale management and systems analysis, even in terms of personal endeavors of very limited scope. It introduces the concept of management, which is basic at this period of the cyclic life process, which the zodiac symbolizes, yet which needs to be totally reevaluated if mankind is to actualize the spiritual potentialities implied in the evolutionary transformation. Well, when I read that, that kind of hit me in terms of where the other planets are right now. Spiritual potentialities, well, that can very well be Neptune and Pisces right now with the 12th house overtones. Evolutionary transformation, Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn has to do with coming to a final or the highest level, and then looking toward the evolution towards something new, the change that comes with the Aquarius moon. We've just come out of the moon moving through Capricorn and transiting over Pluto. And perhaps yesterday, as that moon-Pluto energy was joined together, people were yearning for a transformation from old to something new. Organization should be the key word. Now that sounds like a made-up word to me, but rather than mere organization, for humanity now can and should realize that it is indeed an organism. And I do think that that is something we tend to forget, the interconnectedness of everything and everybody. And it says here, the new age should be one in which man learns to use the power generated by human togetherness and group interplay. Play, that's the 5th house, the Leo energy, and the togetherness symbolized by the 5th and the 11th house and the Aquarian energy. To use it harmoniously for the welfare of the whole, of which all individuals are parts. And that is something that the individualism of Aquarius is always there, but the awareness that we are all individuals making up the whole is something that the Aquarius-Leo opposition brings forward for people. The welfare of which all individuals are parts, humanity and the planet Earth. And it says that this has never been achieved, and I don't think so, but I also think that we are coming to a time where some of the things are bigger than we've ever had to deal with before, and that there needs to be a coming together of people on a grander scale in order to be able to go on to a new level and get past the things that limit us or are detrimental to our planet in such a way that we won't have future generations on this planet. So let us set our intention for this full moon and this partial lunar eclipse, that we have a greater understanding or awareness that brings people together as a whole. As we look forward to the eclipse coming up on the 21st of August, it will be occurring, I believe, at 28 degrees of Leo. So we will be coming to an eclipse, total eclipse at that time of the sun, and it should be interesting how society responds, especially the United States, as the path of that eclipse literally goes across the United States. So hopefully it will change consciousness for many people and bring the idea of working together for things that support humanity as a whole, the country as a whole, people's needs and people's rights as a whole, so that we can live in a more peaceful and constructive way. And if you have any questions about what's going on individually this month for you, where we seem to have a bit more intensity than usual, we're also coming into a Mercury retrograde time period. During August, I believe it's the 12th that Mercury turns retrograde until about September the 4th, and we can look and see where that goes on in your own natal chart as well, to see what kind of things you might be going over again during that retrograde period. So again, I am Dee at Aloha Astro, and if the pop-up pops up when you visit and you join my newsletter, I will be doing a drawing tomorrow for a free reading. One person will win a free reading, and I do that every full moon. If you are already on my newsletter list, if you've already signed up, you are already in. You don't have to sign up again. Everybody be safe, have a happy full moon, and I will talk to you next time.